Corner. I'm Denise Martinez-Scanziani. So this is something that we're trying just to really reach out to everyone as much as possible for these upcoming elections. First and foremost, I hope that everyone is staying safe and watching their health and understanding that we are in very, very strange times. So I pray that everyone is doing well. I just thank you for joining us today on Candidates Corner. Again, I'm Denise Martinez-Scanziani, and this is something we're trying out. We're trying to basically reach out to as many voters as possible, as many people as possible to get informed about these upcoming elections. The elections are August 18th, so they're right around the corner. I want to say there's, 94 days, but who's counting, right? It's a difficult and interesting time for all of us. But these campaigns, these elections are important, and they are just around the corner. So I thought it was very important to try to speak to as many folks as possible, and just share my story and let you know. I just wanted to give a shout out to Yvette and to Mauricio who are watching. And hi, thanks for joining. So today we're going to be, I am going to be sharing a little bit about my story, as I'm waiting for just some more folks to join in, and just sharing a little bit about who I am and why I'm running for judge in Miami-Dade County, these August 18th elections. Hi, Maria Luisa. It's good to see you. Thanks for joining. And it's one of the things that I want to share my heart, share where I'm coming from and why I'm doing this and why I'm on this amazing journey to judge. Okay. So I'm born and raised in Miami-Dade County, and I've lived exclusively in Miami-Dade County, except for when I was living in Gainesville when I went to study at UF. And I've always had a heart to serve. So when I became a lawyer, I graduated from law school, and I decided I had a path to choose. I could have gone to the big firms and focused my career in that direction, or I could have chosen a career of service, which is what I did. So my first job right out of law school was working for legal aid, where I worked at the Senior Citizen Law Project. All of my clients, every single one of them, the requirement was that they had to be 65 and older. So I was able to advocate and represent for that community, and I've just always had that heart to serve. Once I did finished my work at legal aid, I did go out in my own practice, and I focused my career and my practice on marital and family law, doing trials and appeals. Hey, Sandy, thanks for joining. One of the things that I am at the position that I am in my career right now is I really want to give back. I think it's I've been given so much. I'm the first person in my family to go to college. I was always taught by my mom the importance of education, and she taught us that was the way to progress and to give back. And so that's where I'm at right now. Hi, Sydney. Thanks for joining. One of the things that I'm faced with right now is this passion that I have to serve my community, to serve all of my community. And so that's where this path started as a candidate to become a judge for Miami-Dade County. I am the oldest of 5 children. And so, yes, we were a busy household, and I'm surrounded by a wonderful family. My husband, I've been with him for now 27 years, if you can believe it. 27 years. Hey, Dave, thanks for joining. We've been together 27 years. We have 3 wonderful and amazing children. The oldest, who's going to college, she's headed to Gainesville, which I can't believe I have a college-age child now, but that is the truth. And so that's basically who I am and what my story is. This forum here, because it is very difficult to be able to reach and speak to voters in person. The goal here for this forum for Candidates Corner, and I'm live on Facebook and I'm live on Instagram and I'm live everywhere is to get as many people to join in. And basically I'm here to answer your questions. I'm here to, if you would to meet me on the street and you were to ask me, well, why are you doing this? Or what is a circuit court judge? Or why should I even care about voting for a judge? Those are the questions that I get asked when I'm out and about. However, now I can't be out and about. So now we're all on social media. We're all looking at our phones or looking on our desktops, just going through our feeds. And so I thought that this would be a really good way to connect. I'm an educator at heart. I'm a former teacher. I was a high school teacher. So I'm all about educating. And when I can reach out to as many people and educate them and inform them, I'm here taking questions. We've already had some questions about, for me, some of them, quite a bit of questions, but I'm here. I'm going to be here every Saturday at 2:00 is the plan, so that I can receive as many questions as you want. You can engage in the chat. You can let me know what you want to know. Anything you want to know about me, if I can answer it, I'm happy to answer it. So one of the questions I got earlier was, well, why do I need to vote for judges? I don't get that. I don't know how to vote for judges. Why should I vote for judges? Well, hey, Johnny, thanks for joining. And Ocean T-shirt Designs, thanks so much for joining. So one of the things that is, I have to explain as much as possible and give you as much information as possible is that as far as judges are concerned, judges are nonpartisan. So it's not about being a Republican or a Democrat or anything like that. Judges are completely nonpartisan because if you think about it, judges have to apply the law equally and fairly to all, regardless of what the judge's personal beliefs or interests are. And that's fundamental to our system. That's fundamental to due process. That's fundamental to the Constitution. Judges are required to be impartial. Judges are required to apply the law fairly, equally across the board, without injecting their own personal beliefs. And I value that. I'm passionate about that. One of the things that I do when I'm as an appellate attorney, for example, I've taken on appeals pro bono because I thought that there was an injustice or that there was some violation of due process. And one of the appeals that I'm most proud of is an appeal where I was able to obtain a reversal from a trial judge decision when the client was the due process was violated. So that's the importance of judges. But why specifically is it important to vote for judges? Well, although we see all the elections about different, the president and all that, and that's all it's obviously those are all very important. One of the things that is super important is that you have to understand, and everyone should understand, is that you're much more likely to have a face-to-face encounter with a judge than really any other elected official. Now, that's not to take away from the other elected officials who serve their constituents, but the judges, for example, circuit court judges will preside over cases that have a daily and immediate impact on our lives, every member of the community. So whether you're involved in a family case, so whether it could be a divorce, it could be a child custody dispute, it could be, child support, it could be domestic violence. So judges are the ones who are there day in and day out, face to face with the community. So you could be involved in a family issue, or you could be involved in for example, a car accident. You have a car accident and you've been injured. That's also another opportunity and another circumstance where you'll have a face-to-face encounter with a judge. You could, hopefully not, but you could be arrested. And when you're arrested, you can also, depending on the crime, if it's a felony, you're going to appear in front of a circuit court judge. So voting for judges, I know a lot of voters don't know how to vote for judges. And so that's why I'm here. That's why this platform is here, because understanding who you're voting for and understanding what a huge impact. Someone mentioned this on the comments. Yes, local elections have a huge impact on our daily lives across the board. And my focus on what I can speak to is as a candidate for judge is that I understand that we have in Miami-Dade County, especially, we have a very diverse and huge community. Our population is, I think, in our county is as big as some small states. But judges are there. They're there on the front line. Again, it's not to take away from any of the other local elected officials, but their decisions are on a much higher kind of level, whereas judges are there face to face. So what is it that I want to do? What is it that I want to do? I want to serve my community. I want to be able to be there in front of my community, understanding that those who are coming before me, whatever decision I make is going to have an immediate impact on each person's life. And I take that very seriously. Thank you. Happy Saturday to you. Thank you so much, Omar. I take that with a huge sense of responsibility and burden, because I don't take that lightly. I understand that no judge is perfect, no person is perfect. But what I do believe is that if judges follow the law, and if judges do not inject their personal beliefs, and if judges really, if you just treat everyone with respect, everyone who comes before you. As a judge, you're on the bench, and you're sitting a little bit higher than everyone, but really, you're there to serve. It's the people's courtroom. It's those who come before you. It's the attorneys who practice in front of you. You're there to make the decisions, absolutely, but you're there to serve. It's a privilege to serve. Hey, Barbie, thank you so much for joining, and thank you for checking in with us. Hi, David, thank you for joining. So let's see, what else? So that's important. So August 18th, you are going to have the opportunity to elect your next group of judges. Every 2 years, judges are on the ballot. Every 2 years. Not all the same judges, but every 2 years you have a series of judges. Now, often you'll have judges that are just elected over and over again without any type of opposition, and that's fine. And then you have different races that will be contested, and then that's up to you, the voters, to vote. So this coming August 18th, you have all of Miami-Dade County will have local elections. Miami-Dade County will have different municipalities, will have different different races that don't affect the entire county, but there are countywide races that can be voted on by all residents of Miami-Dade County. So when you're talking about the judges are countywide. So if you're living up in Miami Lakes, all the way down to Florida City, and the east and western borders of Miami-Dade County, I'm speaking to you, and you have the right and the privilege to exercise your vote. So as far as communicating to you the importance of judges, I can't stress that enough. And it's not only about me in this race. It's really every single time that judges are up for election. Get informed, do your research, and find out who's running, and vote for the person that you feel is most qualified. So since I'm talking about being qualified, let me talk a little bit about why I believe I'm qualified for this role. So I shared a little bit in the beginning. So if you're just joining in, hey, Josh, it's good to see you. It's been a long time. So when I'm a lifelong resident of Miami-Dade County, born and raised here. I graduated from Coral Gables Senior High. I was there in the IB Magnet program. And then I went on to UF. So I'm a double gator. I know, I understand we're in hurricane country, but I am a double gator. And I went and I lived in Gainesville for the time that I was studying there. I graduated from undergrad summa cum laude, and then I graduated from law school cum laude. And then my first job out was at Legal Aid. Then I've been practicing on my own. So now I've been practicing over 20 years. I like to say I started when I was 10, but I did not. So I'll be actually 45 this week on my birthday, May 21st. But for over 20 years, I practiced at the trial and appellate levels. And I'm a board certified attorney in the area of marital and family law. So what does that mean? So it wasn't enough that I sat down and I took one bar exam when I first graduated from law school. I decided that I wanted to, maximize my expertise and be recognized as an expert in the area of marital and family law. So I had to take an exam, I had to study, I had to apply, and I had to get vetted, and my colleagues, other lawyers and judges had to express their opinions about my ethics and my ability and my experience. And by doing that, I was able to sit for another exam, which was, I'm going to say, a lot more difficult than the Florida bar exam. But then I passed. So I passed and I became what's called a board certified specialist. So I'm recognized by the Florida bar as a legal expert in the area of marital and family law. And what's really interesting about that is that I'm the only candidate in Dade County who has been recognized as a board certified expert by the Florida bar. Now that means that the bar has given me that special recognition. So I am devoted to my practice. I am devoted to the law. I love it and I'm passionate about it. So now what's the next step for me? Well, I believe that now it's time for me to give back. And so by giving back, I'm hoping to serve my community. I'm hoping to give what the experience and the knowledge that I know, and truly my love and respect for the law and my love and respect for due process and justice, and help my community. This is the best way that I know how to help. So that's my why. That is my why. I have no other. If you know me, if you interact with me, you know that I can go on and speak to you about cases and speak to you about the law, and speak to you about appellate decisions. And that's all good and that's necessary, but I'm also about service. I think it's very important. I think that when we are given as professionals and we're given certain abilities, and lawyers, we have that ability to help others and advocate for others. I think that it's so important to give back. It's so important to give back. And this is the way, this has been my passion to do this. So August 18th, we're talking right around the corner, in the middle of this, COVID pandemic, we will still have local elections. And I'm just asking that I'm asking for your vote. Quite frankly, I'm asking for your vote. I'm asking you to tell a friend. I'm asking you to share my story. You can go on my Facebook page. I'm here. I'm in a couple of different platforms. I'm on Instagram and I'm on Facebook, and I think I'm also on Twitter actually too. So right now, if you are so inclined, I ask that you just remember August 18th, but also keep posted, keep remembering, keep understanding, keep following their social media, so that you are up to date with everything. I'm going to be here every Saturday at 2:00. I'm receiving questions. I'm receiving questions in the chat. So let me just take a look here and see if I have any. Let's see. Okay, let me see. All right. Hi, Rebecca. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. Hey, Denise. Yes, go Canes. I get you, Rebecca. I understand. I'm not opposed to the Hurricanes. We're actually not enemies, right? We don't really play each other very often. So I have Hurricane fans here at home for sure. So we're a big football family, big college football family. Let's see what else. Alvita, Mario, how are you? Thanks for joining. Thank you. Okay, so let's see. What are some of the other questions? Okay, so what were you like as a child and in high school? Well, that's interesting. You know what? And I love these questions because it's not just about the law and it's not just about my experience and all that. I think it tells, it's good to be able to interact and to understand me personally. So I was the boss, right? I'm the oldest of 5 kids. I'm the firstborn. And I am definitely the take charge sibling. After my mom was, working a lot. My parents were working a lot. So I was in charge. You can ask my siblings. Yes. And they love me and we're very close, but I was the bossy pants. And I was definitely the one that would help my mom with caregiving for my siblings and chores and things like that. We're 5 siblings. I have the one who follows me, Eileen. She's in North Carolina with her family and her kids, and my third sister, Yvette, who is an opera singer. Yes, she's an opera singer, which is quite quite fun because whenever I need some kind of special surprise at an event, she and my brother-in-law Mauricio are there singing, so I love it. Then I have my brother who was in the military, and I think we're in armed forces. I want to say we're in Armed Forces Day, so I also wanted to thank all the men and women who've served our country in the armed forces, and especially my brother who was in the Air Force and now lives in Bahrain, where he is expecting his first child with his fiance. So shout out to him. I don't think he's on now because we're completely two different time zone, so he's probably sleeping. And then, of course, I have my youngest sister, Michelle, who is the baby of the family, but is also a recent grad from law school and the most recent addition to the Florida bar. So she's now an attorney as well. And so now there are two Martinez sisters who are attorneys and practicing lawyers, so watch out. But what was it like? So, I was definitely the person that, had to take charge and get people to get my siblings to do what they needed to do and help my mom. I was a big support to my mom. And again, always really focused on education. My mom was, she passed away 2 years ago, sadly, but she's, if you like me even just a little bit, then you would love my mom because I am a reflection of her. I am a reflection of everything that she taught me and the values that she's taught me, and just loving unconditionally and sacrificially. Those are the hallmarks of what my mom taught me. And that's where my desire to serve comes from. So, and in high school, well, I was kind of a little bit of a academically inclined, let's say. I was focused on my studies. I was a good kid. Definitely, by the time I graduated and did all my AP exams and did my international baccalaureate exams, I actually started undergrad as a sophomore. So I was able to kill off some high school credits, some college credits, and so I went to college on scholarship. But in high school, I was involved in yearbook. I was a singer in the choir ensemble. So I was a performing choir, and I just actually digitized some of my home videos from not too long ago. And yeah, that was fun. But anyway, so I was a pretty normal kid. I actually met my husband in high school. We're high school sweethearts. He was, although very smart and academically inclined, he was more of a jock. So he was he was very involved in football. And we, one of those things that just happened. And when we met in our senior year, and now 27 years later, we are still together and happily married and with 3 wonderful children. So that's me, and that's a little bit about my my childhood and high school experience. So let me see. I wanted to give some shout outs. I said, hi, Jessica. Hey, Saley. How are you? Jack. Let's see. And then my sister wanted me to share that she's my opera singer sister who tried out for the Cavalier Singers. She didn't make it, but I did. But I'm going to say that all respect to the Cavalier Singers, my sister can sing me under the table for sure. So I'm not sure what happened there, but hey, David, how are you? Good to see you. Denise, thank you so much for calendaring the date to go vote. Don't forget to tell a friend, tell everybody. Let me just go back here and see. Hey, Diksha, how are you? Pedro, DJ Dro Valdez, how are you? Man, it's been a bit. Let's see. Hi, Maria Eugenia. Jennifer, thank you. Thank you so much. Johnny, thank you. Thank you so much for chiming in. And let's see. Monica, thank you. So you think it's a good idea? I mean, we were just trying, we're really trying to be creative about how to reach people. And honestly, this might just be the new way of campaigns, right? Because we can reach people so much more at a greater rate than if I'm going to different events and trying to meet people and talk to people one-on-one. Here's a great way to just share and express everything at the same time. Let's see who else is on here. Hey, Maria, how are you? Hey, Dad. Thanks for watching. Let's see who else is on here. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. So let's see. I have some other questions. Let me see. I'm getting some here. And by the way, I just wanted to tell you, I have to confess. Okay. Get in here. This is the very first time I do anything live on anything. So please, sorry, bear with me. I don't know. I have no idea what I'm doing. Hey, Carrie, how are you? Good to see you. All right, so let's see. So what's my superpower? Okay, so that's a funny story. So what's my superpower? You know, I've been told that people feel very comfortable talking to me, right? So I actually was on a phone call the other day with somebody who was just actually calling me about my campaign, and I won't get into the details, but he started, I've never met this person. So he started telling me about his story, he started telling me all the whys and trying to understand the campaign. And then he started talking to me about his divorce. And then he started talking to me about his alimony payments. And then he stopped, and we were on the phone for about 30 minutes. And then he said to me, wait a minute, I don't even know you. Why am I telling you all this? And I said, don't worry, that's my superpower. Just keep talking. So I've been told that that's my superpower. I make people feel comfortable. I think that helps a lot in my role, especially dealing with family law. When you are, for the most part, my clients or people who come to me to ask me for advice, they're in a very stressful and emotional situation. So I think that family lawyers have to have that special gift, that special ability to make people feel comfortable. So make people feel comfortable, hear their story. I've heard often that once people are done talking to me, they feel like they've had a therapy session, which, I think that's good, especially if you're in crisis, if you're in some kind of domestic dispute. So that, I would say, is my superpower. I think also I'm a very loyal person. I'm a good friend. I don't like talking about myself, so I'm just only telling you what other people have told me. Oh, hey, so hi, Max, my 13-year-old just joined in the live stream. So he can't vote, but he's giving me the thumbs up. So hey, honey. Let's see what else. So I try to go out of my way to really put myself in the shoes of the other person and do what I would want, treat how I would want to be treated, treat everyone with kindness and respect, treat everyone with, just kindness. I think that the world could use more kindness for sure. And we can all stand to remember that. So let's see. All right, what else? Let me just remind everyone that we will be here every Saturday at 2:00. You can put some comments on Facebook, on our Facebook page. Our Facebook page is facebook.com/Denise for Judge. You can follow there all of our activities and all of our virtual, things that we're doing. I have some videos posted on there that also, share a little bit about who I am. We're on Twitter, Denise for Judge. We are on Instagram, Denise for Judge. I don't think we're anywhere else. I don't know, but I'm not sure about TikTok or anything else. So I think that I may have maxed out my social media capability. And actually, I think I'm on LinkedIn as well. So just to get the word out, and if you're connected and if you're hearing something you like, I ask that you just tell a friend. Next Saturday at 2:00. I'm going to be here as well, and I want to hear from you. I really do. I want to answer your questions. I want you to tell me what you want to know. I want you to ask me the questions, because if I'm asking you for your vote this coming August 18th, I want you to have your questions answered. Judicial candidates, we are a little bit constrained because we do have our ethics that we have to follow. One of the things that we can't answer every single question. We can't answer questions that would tell us, for example, how would you vote for in this case, or how would you rule in this kind of case or that kind of case? That's not acceptable, not only under the canons, but truly, I don't think anybody would want a judge to speculate how they would rule in any particular case without having heard the evidence or the facts or anything like that. So there's certain restrictions. It's not partisan, so it's not about being a Republican or Democrat or Green Party or independent or anything like that. That's not what judicial races are about. Judicial races are about electing a qualified person that can has the demeanor to be on the bench and that is knowledgeable and is qualified to do what they're asking the voters to select him or her to do. And that's why I'm here. So I'm asking you, just reach out to me. You can also email questions at it's connect at deniseforjudge2020.com. Connect at deniseforjudge2020.com. Email your questions. I have a list of some questions. Some are, just kind of funny, non-legal questions. Some are just funny. Some are more serious questions. But please, I really do want to hear from you. This is what this platform is for. This platform is for you. I'm not sure what time it is because we're scheduled to end this at 2:30. So I think we're about to wrap it up now. But I really do want to thank each and every one of you for having taken the time to come on, for having heard my story. And I really look forward to hearing from you again. Remember, facebook.com/DeniseForJudge. Follow me on Instagram, Denise for Judge, and on Twitter also, Denise for Judge. Reach out to me with your questions. And, this August 18th, I truly and humbly ask that you allow me to serve you as your next circuit court judge. Thank you so much. Bye all.